Sta gravando. Oh, okay.
No, yeah.
Good. Yeah, we can start. And mm, question?
Okay.
Mhm.
Marcelo, do you think that is world peace possible? Why or why not?
Well, I think world peace is possible because no, wait. I think it might be to some extensions possible, not 100% possible. To some extensions, maybe like the times we live now. Yeah, it sounds a bit contradictory to say that we live in peace, but if we compare this to ancient times, we definitely are living in a better time than in the past, when war was very common, and especially in much much ancient times, when there was no idea of sovereignty, and wars used to be very random, very common. So I think, for example, now we live in, well, most of the world lives in peace. The only wars between major powers are more economical ones, more like rivalries between who can attract more countries than the other, like Russia, like China and the United States, for example. But 100% peace in the world, it's impossible, because even in a small community, there's always someone who disagrees. And sometimes we can disagree, of course. Nobody can agree with everybody at 100%. The problem is that some people prefer to impose their view, their vision on others. So that's why they resort to violence, and if they are powerful enough to attract a big crowd around them and order them to commit some violent actions against what they perceive to be the enemy, then yeah, there will be always be war in that sense.
Okay.
Also, world peace could be achieved, but it would mean that many countries have to hmm, to lose a part of their sovereignty. So there should be a world government for this case, and the world government would be really hard to set up. First, because no country would probably accept it. The small and poor countries would feel it's some sort of a new imperialism, and the rich countries would rival between one another to see who has the most influence on this world government. And also, it would be a very hard task for this world government to maintain 7 billion people in peace.
Okay. That's some
So,
good.
what
Yeah.
are your ideas about this, Marcelo?
Yeah, well, what you say is impossible that all the worlds will might be in peace, because every country have many difference about territories, economical, uh, uh, if possible, religion problems. So most of these case uh, started to fight, then to started a war. So well, I think we need to live in a world with peace and war in the same time. For me, this is my opinion.
Mhm. It's
Um,
true. It's true. It's all about
yeah,
the balance.
yeah, to live in a balanced world. Well, it sounds strange,
Exactly.
but it's necessary thing.
Yeah, sometimes even war can be necessary sometimes.
Yeah.
For example, without the menace of nuclear weapons,
Hmm.
there wouldn't have been the mutual. What was the name? It was something called the. It was a something I forgot the name. That when two superpowers have enough power to destroy the rest of the world, nuclear war would be a loss for even for a winner. It would be a loss. So it's everybody lose in a nuclear war. So that's why they don't have to fight if they want to keep living.
Nowadays,
Hmm.
most of the governments,
Yeah.
powerful governments made this. What you say, nuclear power. Maybe they use this power to attack so many other countries. So these weapons destroyed
Yeah.
all the ecosystems, all the people, kill a lot of people. So
Definitely.
yeah,
Those weapons are designed to
yeah, they
leave
don't solve the problem.
a scar,
Mm,
deep
it's
scar. Yeah.
yeah, they kill
They causes
everything.
more problems than they they think to resolve. Yeah.
Mm, yeah, this is true.
And what is the next question?
Yeah, well, the next question is: do we live in a peace world these days?
Well, as I said, we have quite a lot of peace compared to ancient times, but
Mhm.
everything comes with a price.
Yeah,
For
this is
example,
true. This is true.
yeah,
Everything comes
most
with it.
of the world has it, but i- uh, the most hidden areas are hidden in a horrible way, and
Yeah.
even worse than in the past, probably. So unfortunately, there's a price to pay for most of the things we enjoy nowadays, like a long life. We used to the lifespan used to be shorter in the past, but
Mhm.
now it's longer. But we have other kinds of diseases, so everything comes with a price. We're probably living a little better than before, but
Mhm.
still we have different problems.
Yeah, well, in our
And
case,
what do
in
you think
Peruvian
about?
case, we ignored. Well, I consider that Peruvians ignored most of the problems that happen around the world. Well, but if you watch the news of, in this case, Syria, Israel, or North Korea, and Korea, South Korea, you can see that they have uh, weapons problems. In this case, they kill all their people and them people. Well, but
Yeah,
these attacks don't affect us because we are far of them. But I think we don't live in a peace world. We
yeah,
and
definitely.
now the problems. Well,
Unfortunately,
I a lot of medias consider that we live in a second frost world with USA and China. Commercial,
Cold War, maybe Cold War, I guess. Yeah,
yeah, Cold War, yeah,
Second
Cold
Cold War.
War,
Yeah, a rivalry. Uh-huh.
yeah. But all
Rivalry
in this
because
case is not for
if it
weapons.
was a
This
hot
case is
war,
for commercial problems.
it would be terrible.
Yeah, but don't worry.
True. Yeah, it's usually a rivalry between major powers. So it's called
Yeah.
Cold War because they do a war of propaganda and all of that instead
Yes,
of
a
a
lot of
hot war that
announcements.
is a war with nuclear weapons.
Yeah, in it's more, how can I say, uh, is less dangerous than so many years ago. Then, what do countries need to
Mm,
have
that's true.
or install to live in peace?
Unfortunately, yeah, we evolve in some things, and in others we remain basically the same.
Yeah, this is true. Then,
Hmm.
final, what do countries need to have or install to live in peace?
I
Mm,
think with a stronger economy, countries tend less to go to war, tend less to have a not just a strong economy, but also a good standard of living. People are less prone to create sectarian groups
Mhm.
that wants, for example, to separate from the rest of the country or wants to impose their ideology on the rest of the country. Most of the times, these groups are made by poor people or fanatics that are just driven by anger and by other feelings. Maybe because they're part of a minority that they used to be oppressed, or they're part of a majority that feels threatened by minorities. But the problem is that as long as there is division and inequalities, there's more people are more prone to commit such crimes and all of that, and
Mhm.
to join maybe some radical political group that will wage war internal, because most of wars nowadays are internal, like civil wars and struggle within a country, not anymore between states, even though it might still happen again. But
Yeah,
yeah, so that those problems could, I think, they could be solved with better living standards in a country, and those living standards could be achieved with a good economy. And the
yeah,
good economy, I think, it could be achieved with better social policies, and also um, focus on the international markets. That can be solved, in my opinion, with good education, and a good education that creates ethic people that actually care for the country, and they can get rid of corruption, for example, and all of that.
yeah. That's true. What you think? What you say? Another well
And what you think about it?
is well the first problem of or well that first problem that we need to solve is the politicians because most of the wars start by them. So we need to all the civil people need to how can you say that to express the the things that annoy for their actions. Then is to improve in education. What do you
Mhm.
say? In, no, not only education in the centers. We need to improve education in all rural areas around the world because if
True.
you can in our example in our country we can find a potential guy in for example in technology in science and mathematics in rural area in compare in how can I say not in
Mhm.
the centers only in the rural in the rural area. So we need to improve this. Then is to stop these radical groups. What do you say? There's
True.
many of them. I watch them in so many news, and their rules and their ideas are very extremely strict, and only once their
Mhm.
benefits, and we need to exterminate these groups. That's
Yeah.
it's my
Yeah.
solving
Exactly
ideas.
that way.
Okay.